I have an awful lot to say about last night's episode of The Valley. And I don't even know where to start. Jesse, as East Awesome likes to say, Jesse Lollipop, the emotional terror that you are, dude. Like, what the literal hell, like that guy is so evil, like truly evil. He spent the entire episode picking at Michelle, poking and prodding to make her explode. And then every time she would explode and she would get loud and she would yell, he would just sit there and act like he's so innocent when he's the one who instigated those blow-ups. And it pissed me off so badly. We're going to get into that and more in this recap, okay? But at the top of the episode, I just have to say, listen, I think that Kristen chose right with her guy, Luke. Luke, like when they're party bus to go to the wine tasting, like it kind of like had issues and it was smoking and whatnot. He is the only man in a bus full of men that got up there, moved his behind to try and do something about it. You see Jesse behind him. And so if you didn't watch the episode, maybe you'd assume that he was there to make himself useful as well. No, the man was drinking 2 bottles of champagne on his own to pregame for the wine tasting. Alcoholic says what? Right? And so he was just wandering around annoying them as they try to figure out what was going on with the bus. He almost got hit by oncoming traffic because he was pretending to hitchhike, but he was so drunk, he lost his depth perception and he almost went into the damn road, right? But Luke stepped up. He knows a thing or two about vehicles and whatnot. And he said, okay, listen, what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to shut down some of that air conditioning so that we could be able to make it back to a gas station. It doesn't have enough energy to go up the hill. Like he did a full-blown diagnostic on what was going on. I said, oh, a man, that is a man. I'm sorry, but listen, a lot of the men today, no offense to you men who know how to turn a light bulb, but a lot of them don't even know how to do that. Like, and this guy knows how to do all that. Oh, I'm sorry. I see what Kristen sees in this man. Like that was really, really, that was hot, y'all. Like we love a capable man. Can I say something? He reminds me a little bit of Hank Hill, that guy from that show with the propane accessories and the little booty cheeks. That's what he reminds me of. Hopefully with a better behind than that one. But still, like, I really love the way, right? Like East Awesome says, like, he really did the damn thing. Like, I really so far like him. I gotta be honest with you. He gave me like hardcore mega vibes. So I've always been like kind of like, cold to him and distant, but like, I don't know, like maybe there's something like really, really nice under there with him and whatnot. So big shout out to him on how like he ran that show there. And I felt like it was so embarrassing when it came to all these other men, and like, come on, like they couldn't be bothered. They did not care. Angelisa, I'm so sad you didn't you were going to like be at the edge of your seat when you watch the show. It was so good. Like it was really explosive, right? And doesn't he remind you of him? Like Hank Hill knows his way around a grill. He knows his way around a car. He knows everything. And that is something that I really, really value in men, right? And then we finally make it to the vineyard, right? And so Danny comes back from his voiceover job, which I actually thought was more so him not being able to stay with these people too long because of his alleged drinking problem. And so he says, oh, you guys, like, I have to catch up to you. You already drank so much. I don't understand why people have this kind of relationship with alcohol. Like alcohol is something that is quite literally toxic. You know what I mean? And so I think that people should enjoy it in moderation, right? I understand liking the taste or the buzz that comes with it. But then when people on these shows are like chugging and this and that, like, it makes me feel very anxious for them because I'm like, you guys, like, you don't have to get drunk. You don't have to get wasted. Like, what is this? What do you mean I have to catch up with you? You just have to sit here, enjoy the wine at this wine tasting, and that's it. Who tries to get drunk and wasted at a wine tasting? I found that to be just so trashy, right? And so he just, per usual, anytime he's drunk and he's in front of the group, especially at a table, he becomes so obnoxious and annoying. And every time I see him, I'm like, how the hell did he pull such a baddie like Nia? Like, I just do not see a single thing in him that would, that really explains it, to be honest with you guys. Like, he just seems like so much to deal with, like having an extra child. So he starts chugging through all the wine at the tasting and whatnot. And Nia is very visibly anxious as well. And, at this point, it's very clear that he's got a problem, especially after the previous episode. We heard about the way that he treated Jasmine and her girlfriend and everything. And, I also think that Jesse has his own drinking problem as well, judging by the way that he drank 2 bottles of champagne on his own to get ready for that wine tasting as well, right? Like, it's just, I don't know, it makes me really sad to see grown folks acting this way, especially people who are parents and whatnot. It's kind of like, what's really going on? What's really going on? These are not good behaviors to be modeling, right? Especially towards your children. So that made me a little bit anxious, like on his behalf and on Nia's behalf as well. And so speaking of the children, what's her name again? Michelle. She gets a call from the nanny looking over the baby. And so she steps aside to go and talk to the baby on the phone. And Jesse decides that this is going to be his opportunity to go ahead and antagonize her, right? He is always looking for an opportunity, a time, a place, like a way to antagonize this woman. He keeps on trying to have like the same conversation with her. Essentially, he hates her happiness. Every single time, his bone to pick with her is the fact that she's happy and she's telling everybody that he's happy. That's, listen very closely, right? Every time he starts off a confrontation with her, that's what it is. You're going around town telling everybody you're so happy, right? And so he wants for her to say that she's lying, that she's not really happy without him. And it's disgusting. Then he goes, why can't you be happy for me? For what? Like, your girlfriend, she's boning people from Baywatch. She says she's not even serious about you. She doesn't give an F about you. And didn't they break up a couple episodes ago? Because when he was having beef with Janet about it, Janet says, why are you trying to like cause an issue with me over a chick that you're not even with? Like, why is this chick being brought up again? Like, it is so weird and so annoying. Nobody is buying your fake ass relationship. You're just mad that your ex-wife moved on. Right. So there he goes, poking and prodding about her happiness and whatnot. And she says, well, I thought you were coming here to apologize. Right. And it's obviously in reference to the hooker comments that he made in the group chat. And then he sits there, apologize to who? Right. And so then they get into this like tit for tat argument. And so he decides to tell her, oh, well, you're a hooker, which is just so like nasty to say, especially about your ex-wife, the mother of your daughter, on television. And it's not even true. He says he doesn't believe the rumor, right? But he just does this to hurt her and to cause an explosion. And so there she goes. She explodes because anybody would. Like, as a woman, you're working in luxury real estate. There's already the stigma, right? That beautiful women working in luxury real estate are really like low-key escorts, like looking for sugar daddies, this and that. It can affect your business. It affects your public reputation, and it can affect your child as well. When people at school are bullying your child, saying that her mom is a hooker, a lady of the night, or an escort, this, that, or the other, right? So she rightfully explodes. And then Jesse, per usual, and this is such, abuser behavior. I'm not saying he is one, but I'm saying he pulls his move straight from the handbook. He sits there looking calm, like he didn't do anything. Like, this woman is crazy. I just came here to have a reasonable conversation with her. Look at the way she treats me. She's yelling at me. Isn't she crazy? I'm the victim here, I hate that. I truly, truly hate that kind of behavior. And you're right, Mary. They're making crazy Kristen, look like a damn saint. That's how you know you need to reevaluate your behavior, right? But in Michelle's defense, it's Jesse who keeps on throwing out these terrible jabs that cause her to explode, right? East Dawson says Jesse uses a conversation about their beautiful smart child to go after her, period. That tells you everything. Jesse Lollipop is Jack's light, major Tiny D energy. I completely agree. It's disgusting. Whether or not she's happy, right? Her new boyfriend has nothing to do with what they were supposed to do there, which was have a conversation with their child and go their separate ways, go back to ignoring each other in the group, right? And so there was a moment here where, she gets fed up with being called an escort or a hooker by this man. She says, what about you? You spent all our money and you have a gay man sending you money every holiday, every time for our daughter's birthday. What about that? Right. And so East Awesome says that Michelle confirmed in the after show that the gay guy sent Jesse more than $1,500. I wish that she could deliver better insults to that little man. Right. What about that? Are you an escort? Why is this random man sending you money? How about that? Right. Because if a random man was sending Michelle's money, trust and believe that Jesse would be dragging her and using that as proof that she's an escort. Right? Julissa says Jesse and Jax are the same. The difference is Jesse is smart, Jax isn't. I agree. Right? Jax is a bull in a china shop. right? Or is it a store? China store, China shop. A bull in a China shop. And Jesse, he's so insidious. He's so sinister. He keeps on. To the untrained eye, you think that Michelle is explosive. You think she's dramatic, but no, she's being abused on television in front of our very eyes, and it's scary. Ramster says, when a guy calls you a hooker or worse, ask him why. All of a sudden, he brings up his mom. Ooh, there you go, right? And I would love for her to keep asking him why, right? Because when they confront him, and we're going to get to that a little bit later, he says that, like, he knows it's not true, right? And so on the show, you see Michelle pull out the receipts that a random man was sending Jesse money, and then she tells everybody that Jesse spent all their money. Like, the man is foolish as hell with money, right? And so Kristen's boyfriend Luke goes over to check on Jesse, to try and diffuse the situation. And this is another moment where I said, this man is truly evil. He's sick in the head. And it's when Luke comes over there, he's like, dude, like, are you okay? And then what does Jesse say? Hang on, I have this written down because it was absolutely insane to me, right? Hang on. Yes. So he said, oh, like, that went well, right? He said that conversation, like, in his head, he probably even believes that too, right? With his smug, cocky face and whatnot. And Luke, someone who I actually think is very empathetic and whatnot, based off of just the way he treats Kristen and the way he navigates this group and stuff, he looked horrified. I wish he wasn't wearing his sunglasses so we could see his full expression, but the man was horrified. He's like, you have triggered this woman into a state of like panic, like pure horror, pure panic. And you're saying that went well? Like, was that your goal? And why would that be your goal? What type of person are you that you would trigger a woman into hysteria like that, let alone the mother of your child, let alone on camera, right? Like, that was insane, And so again, Luke got more points with me for just being horrified by that, because it was truly, truly disgusting. And by the way, when Michelle was accusing Jesse of having a gay sugar daddy, was that not reminiscent of Jax? Like, wasn't Jax also accused of having a gay sugar daddy? And I think James was the same thing as well. Just saying, right? That seems to be like the common theme in the Valley Vanderpump Rule kind of universe of being, sort of gay for pay, so to say. And so Zach says, listen, we gays do not want him. The straights can keep him, right? He didn't get accepted in the draft. So for now, he's stuck on Team Straight, unfortunately, as far as we're aware, right? And so Brittany decided to spring into action here. And so she grabs Michelle. They go back to confront Jesse to get this on camera, right? Which I thought was smart. And so she says, why are you calling her a hooker, right? Like, stop doing that. That is not true. And so Jesse says, of course I know it's not true, right? And so at that point, again, Brittany was very smart to walk off and say, okay, that's all we needed, right? Now it's on camera, which is good, right? Because these kinds of allegations are extremely damaging, especially to women. And the fact that this man can sit here looking chill and this and that, what was supposed to be a conversation about their child, not even a conversation about the child. All he had to do was say hi to his daughter on the phone and go back to the table being like the annoying drunk that he is, right? But he decided to take this opportunity to attack her alone, away from everybody else, cause this huge emotional reaction from her, ruin her day, right? And then he turns around and says, oh, like, yeah, I know it's a lie. Like, that is a sick person. That is an evil person. Then he jokes that went well with Luke. Like, he's not okay. Like, he's miserable. And he wants for Michelle to be miserable with him. He wants to be the reason that relationship breaks up, right? Because he knows his relationship is not lasting. He knows that chick does not like his ass, right? And he's pissed that Michelle so far is quote unquote winning the divorce, right? He is an emotional terrorist. I do not know how Michelle lasted so long with him. Listen, I do not have a fuse to suffer in a relationship. As soon as I start seeing red flags or anything like that, like, I'm done. I'm out. I'm not sticking, and I'm not saying that like he showed signs earlier or whatnot, but she did say that this is what she was dealing with throughout her entire marriage. And I'm like, I'm so horrified for you, Michelle. Like, some people are too strong, y'all, like too damn strong. Like, you can quit. You can quit. Like, it's okay, like, but it's so hard to get out of like the twisted web of like a Jesse Lally and whatnot. Like, oh my God, this guy, he's, what is it? Like a sadistic. He is sadistic. Oh my goodness. Oh, so mind you guys, things get really weird at this point, right? Because at this point, it's time to get out of the vineyard and go back home. And then you see Danny, who at this point has, all but shown us that he's drunk with a drinking problem. So everybody's leaving. And of course, he stays behind to continue chugging the wine to continue to get drunk. Dude, it's a hot summer day. The sun is shining, which already, even if you drink like one glass of something, right? One glass of alcohol in the heat like that, you already get a headache and feel like you're hungover. Like it is a nightmare. So the way that he was drinking, chugging it back, then staying to finish while everybody is walking away, like problems, right? And then when they get to the house, he beelines it to the pantry. Not because he's got the munchies and he wants to damn eat. Like he wants to go take shots of tequila. So Janet said, I was really uncomfortable because I went in there to grab something to eat. The man went in there to go chug some damn tequila. Is he okay? Right? And we already heard stories at this point that he touches people inappropriately when he's drunk. He wants these women, by the way, he wants these women to call him daddy, all sorts of things, right? Like he needs to stop. He needs to stop because these, like, if this was something else, like if these weren't the people from the crew, this was like random people, he could have caught like criminal charges from that because what he did is a form of SA, right? It's not okay. And it's weird how they continue to downplay it, right? And so at this point, Jesse is not yet satisfied with how much he has broken down Michelle and ruined her day. Right? So he decides, oh, well, like Melissa, oh, hang on, you guys, give me a second. I'm gonna play a word and I'll be right back.
The Morning Report is brought to you by Philo. Watch your favorite shows and movies from over 70 different channels, including MTV, TLC, WeTV, and more for only $28 a month. Get a free trial today by clicking the link in the description box of this video to get your free trial up and running. Are you looking for the perfect skincare products for women over 30? Look no further than Rothia. Rothia is a skincare brand born from love and made for parents. Their flagship product.
Sorry, y'all. It's time for my little doggy friend to go home. Womp, 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 until tomorrow. So at this point, he's decided, listen, I have not ruined her day enough, right? And so he pulls Michelle aside, with the pretense that he wants to make up and he wants to get to a better place with her, right? And so she obviously is looking for resolution as well. And so she falls for the bait. But of course, with Jesse, it's never just that. It's always, how can I continue to diminish you? How can I continue to put you in a worse place than I have already put you in, right? And so she goes up there hoping for the best, trying to have like a decent, respectable adult conversation with him. And then again, it turns to the thing about the happiness, why are you telling everybody that you're so happy? And it's so strange. Like, should you not be happy for another person when they have found happiness in their life? And that with you, it wasn't a good place and whatnot. And you're supposedly so happy in your situation. Why do we keep on spinning our gears around the same topic, right? And so she's asking the same thing, which is, why are you so obsessed with this? Like, you have your girlfriend, move on. And so he says, well, why can't you be happy for me? Why does it matter? Why can't you just be happy for yourself? She hasn't said anything about your chick. She's not the one who's constantly chasing you down to have the same conversation over and over about your dead relationship, right? Like, it is so unhinged, his obsession. If I were his girlfriend, and again, his girlfriend isn't even with him, right? Like, that's just like a chick that he was seeing for a bit, but she was playing him, right? But if it was a serious girlfriend, she should, have had a huge side eye for that, because it's not normal for your boyfriend who's going through a divorce to be so obsessed with his ex like that, right? Like, it is so crazy. He's obviously not over Michelle, and he's not happy that Michelle is truly over him and thriving in a new relationship, right? And so at this point, he asks her yet again if she's been cheating. Right. And so she's like, yes, like, I kissed somebody else towards the end of our marriage. How many times do I need to tell you? And it's true. At this point, she had told him that. She had admitted to it every single episode this season. She admitted to it, I think, at the end of last season as well. So why are we still on this? Right. And so per usual, he antagonizes her to the point where she is screaming. She is, quote unquote, hysterical again, right? And what is his reaction when she's acting like this? Per usual, he's playing the calm guy. I don't know what happened to Michelle. I was just putting on my shirt. Then she came up here yelling at me. She's so crazy. It's similar to his demeanor when he did the same thing to her at the vineyard. And it is very manipulative, very evil, very sinister, abusive behavior. It is sick. You shouldn't be treating people this way, right? And so as you see in these pictures, like she is pissed off, she is fuming. And at this point, over being asked the same thing a millionth time, she says, yes, I did go and kiss somebody else because my husband would not hug me, would not tell me I'm pretty. Yes, I went. Like, what else do you want from her? And good for her. Like, good for her. Go kiss somebody else. Go F somebody else, go do whatever you want. Like, you were done with him. You called off the relationship and he kept on trying to beg you to come back to him. You didn't want it. Like, he's the one who decided to waste more of his time. Why would I feel bad for him? He awesome says, remember this episode, Danny is going to be a full-blown alcoholic in season 4 of The Valley. He's behaving like an alcoholic for real. And I agree. Listen, he's already a full-blown one in season 2, child, between the groping and the hiding in the pantry to take shots and then sticking behind at the vineyard to continue. Like, oh, it's bad, right? East Awesome says he wants Michelle to be miserable with him, period. And I'm happy that she yelled it out, for everybody. Is this what's going to make you happy, Jesse? And he said, yes, right? He wants her to feel humiliated. He wants her to feel dirty. He wants her to feel ugly. He wants her to feel like she's a whore and nobody would touch her because she's a whore, right? But nobody cares. Like Janet said, if I were with you, I'd cheat on your ass too. And I'm not even a cheater, right? Like, come on now, right? Come on, right? And exactly, he is provoking her constantly and then acting like he's the calm one. He's the level-headed one every single time that she inevitably breaks explodes, right? And Mary says, rumor has it that they were already separated for a year before season 1. And that's what I had heard too. Like, she was over it in season 1, but he wanted to play the lost puppy dog. Like, like, how dare she? Look at how mean she is to me, this sort of thing. Like, F right off, dude. We heard what you did during that marriage, okay? And we see the way you treat her during the divorce. She was right. Anything you said she did, I say congratulations, you deserved it. East Awesome says, on the after show, Danny kind of confessed to having a chemical imbalance that caused him to need medication for panic attacks. Andy called him out to his face for hiding his true self. Oh, I have to go and watch this. Andy was on that. Oh, you mean the Watch What Happens Live, right? I'm waiting for the podcast episode to come up. That sounds like really, really juicy information, because what is he talking about? They keep hiding and lying about who they really are. Danny, you seem to have an alcohol problem. Millions of people have one. There's no shame in that, but you need to be honest and stop, with the excuses and the deflections, right? Summer Breeze says, how could you call the mother of your children and at one point in time you loved her enough to marry her and have a fetal collab? And you follow that girl on TikTok, and she's Canadian too, from Vancouver, with the glasses and the library and stuff. She loves that fetal collaboration. And the fact that he doesn't even believe it, Summer Breeze, but he wants to destroy her reputation like that. Like, he's sick in the head. He is evil. This is an evil, evil, evil person. He's not a good person, and I cannot stand him. Ramsey says, why does she take his bait? Staying calm and collected is so much better. And you know what? I'm kind of wondering if that is producer driven, because it is a good question. But on these shows, the producers behind the scenes are always meddling with you, trying to push storylines along, telling you this, that, like they're getting in your head. So I do wonder if that has anything to do with it. But I think that, anybody in a situation like Michelle is in, gray rocking, right? Minimal contact. And she did say towards the end of this episode or after this explosion, she said, from now on, I am only going to be talking to him when I pick up or drop off my child. Nothing more, nothing less. And I think that that's smart. And I hope she sticks to it. But you guys see it every episode. This guy keeps on goading for conversations and looking for instigations with her. And it's disgusting. Jalissa says, girl, Jesse's lucky it wasn't me. He would have caught hands, unfortunately. That's the thing sometimes, when you hear stories of people snapping and whatnot, and then, maybe they get charged or whatever, and they take it to trial, and maybe they get acquitted or this or that. Sometimes the judge has to take into account the psychological abuse, the psychological warfare that the person is suffering from, right? It doesn't sound like you or Michelle are violent people, right? But sometimes when someone is just so psychologically just torturous to you, you can snap. You really can. Ali says he needs to speak to her when she was on the phone with, he asked to speak to her when she was on the phone with, exactly. He used that as an excuse to have the same confrontation, the same tired old conversation. Why are you telling everyone you're happy? Did you cheat on me? We've talked about this a million times over. Enough. Thank you, Tyrell. So nice to have you here. Jaleesa says, when you watch The Valley, you have to watch What Happens Live. That's the thing, because I get to watch them the day after. So today. And then like I already have like all these other stories I need to look up and whatnot. So I never get to watch the Watch What Happens Live or the after shows until like the next night, just because, you know, the time zone difference and whatnot. But I'm so sad because I want all these deets, man. But thank you to you guys. Please continue to give us like some little scoops about what's going on and like the after show and Watch What Happens Live and whatnot, because it really helps to paint the full picture, you know, especially for the last episode where they hid what Danny had done to those girls when he was wasted, right? Which is absolutely disturbing, truly, truly, truly disturbing. Now, I do also have to say, you guys, that the way that they were screaming and causing this like commotion in the house, I felt like it was very unfair to the other people here because, you know, I don't know if you guys have ever suffered from this as well, but this has happened to me twice, to go on vacations with couples where like they're your friends, right? And so like in group settings, when you see them for a dinner, when you see them for a picnic, when you see them for parties, they seem normal. They seem healthy. They seem happy. But then you go on vacation with them, you pull back that curtain and you go, oh, damn, this is a toxic relationship. Or, oh, damn, this is an abusive. And it just ruins your entire vacation. For me, this happened to me when I went to the south of France with some friends. We were in Cassis, we were in Marseille, we were in Provence. The entire, and like, I don't like Marseille. No offense to anybody from Marseille, but I do not like that city. But the other cities like were beautiful. And I was so excited to be there. The weather was gorgeous. We were on the boats. We were doing all sorts of lovely things. But they were fighting so much that it was so uncomfortable for me. I couldn't even go out to the dinners with them. I'd be like, oh, like I'm not feeling well. I'm going to stay home, just because I don't want to go out to dinner with people who are just going to fight in the car ride there, at the dinner table, on the way back. Like it was like that literally every day of that vacation. And then you guys know the horror story when I was so excited to go to Barcelona with my friends and we had finally gotten to go. It was a couple. And they fought literally the first day they break up. And one of my friends, he's so dramatic. It was a gay couple. They're so dramatic. And what did he do? We were in an Uber going home from the club. It was like 4 a.m. And so he fights with his boyfriend in Arabic. So I didn't understand. I didn't even know they were fighting, right? I was minding my own business. I'm spinning like a ballerina. And then before we know it, the light turns green on the traffic light. Our Uber driver takes his foot off the gas to start going. And my friend jumps out the car at 4 a.m. I said, never again will I travel with a couple. Never again. I do not know what y'all are really like behind the scenes. Absolutely not. This is absolutely atrocious behavior. Like, what is happening, right? They can ruin your trips. I feel like they ruined this trip for the other people, although they're required to be dramatic like that for the show, right? Yes. Thank you, Mary Duda. And thank you to everybody else coming back with the after show, the Watch What Happens Live scoops for us here on the Morning Report. And it is. We're bordering on 2 hours. And it's just, there's just been so much going on. The Diddy thing took up so much time, but we're almost there. I hope you're enjoying it, Shelby. I hope you're enjoying it. And thank you, Jaleesa. Me too. I really like being able to chat with you guys for as long as possible. Francine says, hi, Grace. Jesse makes my skin crawl. Sometimes mental and emotional abuse is just as bad as physical. Unfortunately, speaking from experience, watching from Perth. And I'm so sorry that happened to you, Francine. And I completely agree. And I think that the worst, like the biggest mind F about this is that these men who are doing this to you, or these people, because sometimes it's women who do this to men, right? They turn around like Jesse does and they act innocent. Right? So in front of everybody else, they're calm, right? They're normal. They're calm, cool, collected. And you're hysterical. You're crazy. You're the one screaming and being dramatic, right? But every single time, they're the ones who are instigating this. So you look crazy to everybody and nobody takes you seriously as a victim. And I see that in some of the Reddit threads about this couple. A lot of people, and unfortunately it's a lot of women, are not taking Michelle seriously as a victim of psychological abuse, right? And they're acting like these two are equally bad or this or that. That is not the case, right? Like this guy is terrorizing her. Like we have to stand by her. Regina says, I would love to be in a dinner with Teresa. So she flips the table. Have you guys read Cop Without a Badge? Did the Housewives universe make that into a successful book? Because all that over that book is crazy. And I did see the guy, he was on that ID channel about the Housewives or something like that. It was a really good documentary. MJ says, I have a friend couple like that. They're always fighting after they start drinking. And it's, oh my God, the worst, right? Now you start trying to come up with different excuses to not hang out with them as much as possible, or definitely to not travel with them, right? And I agree with you, Ramster. Gray rocking is the way to go. As hard as it can be, Gray rock all the way. Shem says, I was just about to say, wow, this is a long episode. It is. Oh, don't forget to like. And yes, guys, if you're enjoying it, please, please, please do not forget to go ahead and like the stream so YouTube knows you enjoy my content, so it continues to push it in front of more people and yourself as well, because sometimes you're subscribed, but it doesn't pop up on your home feed, okay? So now let's get back to Danny, drunk Danny, right? So he had already hid into the pantry to go and get some more booze after chugging all the wine at the wine tasting, right? So it's time for dinner. And this man, he is so passed out. He's so wasted. Again, the heat exacerbates the effect of alcohol, right? So I was not surprised. So he could not even get out of bed. He was already just hammered. And I'm actually shocked that Jesse made it, because Jesse was another one who was drinking way too much. In fact, he started with 2 bottles of champagne on his own before then drinking a lot at the winery. But maybe, you know, he's more used to drinking more often than Danny is, because Danny, it seems to be something that he mainly does like in the company of other people. So at least there's that, right, in his defense on his side. And so he's passed out. And so they're all at the dinner table. And this is where things get, oh God, Jolisa, you're going to love this scene, by the way, right? Because everybody knows that there's an elephant in the room, which is that Danny is passed out drunk. And that is why he's not at the dinner table. But his pageant wife, Nia, says, oh, like he's tired. Like, you know, he drove all day. We have 3 kids. So like he's sleeping. He can't make it to dinner, right? And so at this point, you've got Jasmine, you've got Brittany, who are really, really pissed off that Nia is not spilling the beans, that the husband is drunk, and that is why he's not at the table, right? But here's my thing. You guys are you're such like weaklings. You're on a reality television show. It is absolutely ludicrous to me that your job is to stir up conflict, to give us drama, to pull out the truth, to pull out, you know, all these things, right? You have the perfect opportunity. Here she is not taking, you know, telling the honest truth about what happened, as she shouldn't. That's her husband. She's not going to sit up there on TV and embarrass him and let you guys, you know, portray him as a drunk. But you guys did not even try to bring that up. Right. So they're just whispering about it. Well, why didn't she say that he's drinking? He's only not here because he's drinking. You bring it up. You're a reality. This is why you do not get camera time, Jasmine. You do not move the story along. Bring it up. Put it on the table if you want to be a bona fide reality television star. You too, Brittany. You've been at this for 10 years. You know how this goes. Bring it up. You too, Janet. You were there in the pantry with him. Right? You were getting your little goldfish or whatever it is that you were eating while he was taking shots of tequila. 3 of you on reality television, and not a single one of you has the balls to go up against Nia, who would probably fold in half a second, right? None of you have the balls to turn this into a moment. It would have been boring if Nia just went and said, and that's probably what she should have done, right? So they didn't have anything to work with. They said, yeah, he drank too much. He passed out. He can't come. Now what? Now what? There's nothing to hold over your head, right? But she would have folded. That would have made for some good TV, but these people are not good reality television stars. They did not confront the situation. They were waiting, hopefully, for Kristen, I think, to go ahead and do that, because Kristen would have done that, right? She stirs the pot, right? But Kristen is heavily team Danny, right? And Nia. And so she and Luke were defending him with everything. They were like, no, he's not a drunk. He's got 3 young kids. Why are you guys saying that? And then she says in her confessional, Kristen, that, yeah, you know, if you feel that way, bring it up yourself. Why would you want for the wife to throw him under the bus? On what planet would a wife go up there and throw her husband under the bus? That's your job. That's your clock in. You are being paid. Clock the hell in. They fumbled so hard, and they didn't even really start talking about this until Nia left the table. You guys are, you know, I want to say the P word, like the cat. You guys are psies. Like, are you kidding me? You had your time to show people that you deserve more screen time. You're the star of the show, but no, you folded. You folded to Miss America or Miss USA or whatever it is that she is, right? The nicest girl at the table who you could have very easily confronted. Get out of here. And then they act so angry. Brittany's like, I've been showing my whole life for 10 years. My husband's in rehab, and you're not going to talk about your husband being, you talk about her husband being drunk. You're perfectly capable of doing it. Open your mouth and bring it up. Ask her, are you sure he's just tired from the kids? Or it's not from all the drinking he was doing. It's not from the hiding in the pantry, chugging tequila. See how simple that is? And here's the thing about Brittany. Brittany, you're not even 100% honest, because you are another person who has pretty much kind of seemingly had their own alcohol problem, if we're going to be honest, right? Ever since that season where they went to this, like, in this RV for a trip for Ariana's birthday and whatnot, that nasty RV, like, and she was drinking tequila straight from the bottle. She finished the entire bottle. Then she had some kind of like esophagus or whatever problem, an ulcer. And the doctor told her not to touch a drop of alcohol, and she was doing shots and whatnot. Jax, season 1, was calling you an alcoholic. He was trying to tell you, to be open about your drinking problem. You didn't want to be, right? You weren't open about him being a rug addict. You weren't, right? It came out eventually because everybody was exhausted, and he was going to admit it anyway eventually. So that's when it came out. But for 10 years, you were not honest about your own alcohol issues, and you were not honest about your husband being a rug addict. So spare me this act that, I've put everything out there. No, you have not. You hid a lot. And I'm sure there's even a lot of other stuff, going on behind the scenes with you and with Jax as well. And so they go to their room and they start gossiping and everything. Why didn't she throw her husband under why didn't you bring it up yourselves, right? So Zach, shout out to you, Zach. He decides to take this as an opportunity to pay Brittany back, because remember, he got in trouble with Janet because of Brittany. There were things that he said about Janet behind her back that were not captured on camera, but he was saying that in confidence to his bestie, Brittany. And so she decided to go ahead, take that information, run it to Janet, and then that caused for him to be cut out of a few episodes and to be put into this like big feud, right? Cut out of a trip. And so he goes to Nia to spill the tea. He says, listen, according to Brittany, you're supposed to be a good friend and throw even your best friend under the bus. So let me go ahead and do that. So then Nia goes to where Brittany and Jasmine are ranting about the situation, and then she confronts them, and and then Brittany runs the whole, I'm bleeding out for the show. My husband is in rehab. And so Nia, she clocks her. She says, so you're miserable and you want for me to be miserable too? Is that what this is about? Because that's what it sounds like. And I'm sorry, but that is what it sounds like. It's giving misery loves company. And Brittany was not honest about her own issues, and she was not honest about Jax's issues either. So stop it. Stop. Anyway, it was a really good episode, especially that last little confrontation. Oh, juicy, truly juicy. If you guys didn't get to watch it, shout out to you, Jaleesa, and anybody else who did not yet get to watch the episode. You are going to love it. He's awesome. Says the Watch What Happens live poll from last night shifted to Michelle from Jesse for the first time. 70%. Thank God. People are always so hard on women when it's so clear that they are being pushed to their limits, to their breaking point by evil men a lot of the time, right? So I'm happy. And people are finally able to go ahead and stand behind women. So Lisa says season 8 on the show, she was defending cheating Jax. Exactly. And a cokehead. She wasn't honest with how awful he was. Like, exactly. Spare us, Brittany. You were not honest on this show. Stop it. Right. Mary says all these people are a mess. Absolutely. Right. A full-blown hypocritical mess. Anyway, y'all, why don't we go ahead and leave it on that note? I've got to prepare. I got this Aikido class. It's some kind of martial arts thing that I do with my friend on Wednesdays and Fridays. I got to get ready to head over there. But I had such a great time chatting with you guys. I think this is our first ever 2-hour morning report. I think our second longest morning report lasted about an hour and a half. So this has been quite wild. And my bottom, Lord have mercy, do I need to get up because it's about to be glued to the seat. Thank you so much for joining me, especially if you've made it up until this point. Again, if you enjoyed this episode of The Morning Report, please don't hesitate to go ahead and give it a thumbs up so that YouTube knows to continue recommending my content with you. I don't get lost in your algorithm or anything like that. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Shout out to my playback posse as well. Love you guys too. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode also. And I'll see you again tomorrow, bright and early at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take good care, you guys. Bye. Enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers.